general theme is how does it feel to be a hypocrite?
Right. Well, he sounds like a royal dirtbag.
I was wrong about something.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
If we can be with ourselves, if we can understand ourselves, we can love.
It's not my fault nobody can understand what you're saying.
Let's go while we're young.
3, 2, 1. Just introduce yourself and tell me what you ate for breakfast.
Hey, good morning. It's Matt. I didn't eat breakfast, but I think I'm going to have some beef jerky. Why? Because I'm on the road, and there's nothing better than on the road snacks than beef jerky. And no, that's not a sponsored thing. But anyway, hey, so my signal strength is a little bit weak. So while I'm doing this live, it's delayed by about 3 or 4 minutes. So I did some testing here about 20 minutes ago, and it basically said it's a little slow. And so what it's doing is there's just a little bit of a delay, which means that I can't give away anything today. I'm sorry. But I want you to think about this is probably one of the most important things that I could do right now in the middle of where we're at in a lot of different things in different ways, is share some really personal things with you, and why I think the way I do, and why I believe we do have an incredible country in the way that it was formed. Not that it was perfect, most certainly. Not that there can't be things to look at and improvements made. I'll also say, I've been to other countries, several other countries, and I do think that with the perspective that I've had in the different places and conversations, that the conversations that I've had in the places that I've been have been a very powerful thing for me. So I'm in French Lick, I believe Indiana. Now I forget. I think it's Indiana. So anyway, French Lick. I don't necessarily like to just take the interstate when I'm leisurely traveling. Not that this was particularly leisure. However, it is, I want to at least experience a little bit of that. So kind of off the beaten path, so to speak. It's not along a main interstate. It's taking some, state roads and even county roads, kind of through between different bigger cities and so on. So I'm in French Lick and had just a neat little conversation with some people in Dairy Queen, retired, and that reminded me let me say it like this. It reminded me of the nearly 1 million miles I've officially logged as a CDL driver. I did independent driving as a CDL driver, so commercial driver's license. And I officially logged nearly 1 million miles. And I've driven probably personally, I would say, I know over 500,000 miles. I would say close to 750,000 miles. So I'm up in pushing 2 million miles in my lifetime, and so I've had a lot of incredible experiences in that million miles that I have driven. In the work that I did, I stayed in hotels. I also flew a ton, and so I've had conversations with thousands and thousands of people. And what I really have learned is, and that's so important to me, and I think it's so important to whether it be politically or religiously, and the things and conversations that we have, is to understand something very, very crucial. One size does not fit all, period. It's not at all close to that. We so take for granted that everybody else should kind of do the things that we do in communities that we've never had any idea about even existed, let alone how they do things in that area, based off of whether it be how much snow they get, whether it be how much rain they have, whether it be hilly or mountainy, or all of those things. We really I see it every day in the way that people fight each other on social media. And it's just really odd to me that when you're saying that this political thing should be one way and only one way is just really, really bizarre to me. And I'm not trying to get to a political bias here. I am trying to say, though, that in that million miles that I've driven and those thousands and thousands of conversations that I've had, one thing that I would really want to say is to every single person ever, I would really want to say is just stop and think for a second how your thoughts and your way might affect somebody else in a completely different area and even on a completely different continent sometimes than what your experience has been. What you know, a lot of people don't travel that much and have those kinds of experiences in different areas, and I feel really powerful about that. And I'll sum it up in this. My 3 kids, my 2 sons and my daughter, who I'm very proud of, all of them, extremely proud of all of them. They have very different careers than what I have ever had, and they have very different careers than what they have from each other because they're their own people, and that's the point of it. Their own people need to govern their own area, and I think that's one of the things that is very powerful about the United States and the way that it is governed. It is governed as an individual person and not a collective. That the individual represents themselves and at least has the ability to represent themselves in the way that this country is governed. And that's just a really powerful thing for me. And I wanted to share that yesterday. And I was able to have another conversation last night in French Lick, I believe, Indiana again. So that's my rant for this morning and my thoughts. I hope that you understand where I'm coming from. Just stop and think about how it can affect, you know, someone else before you spout off on saying that things should be a certain way. It's just really, honestly, disheartening. Let me say it like this. There's a huge difference between asking a question of something and sort of dictating the answer on the way something should be done. I like to ask questions. I hope that's the way I approach it. Yes, I may want to lead into a certain thing or a way, just to be honest, but I like to ask questions, and that helps us understand each other rather than demanding that something is a certain way. I do feel very strongly about that. So I'll leave it there for today. I hope that everybody has a fantastic Thursday. And remember, I'm delayed just a couple of minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes here, it looks like, on the upload. So I had to start this. I started it at 6:27 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So anyway, about 3 minutes, I guess that makes it. So hope that you have a great day. I will be back home, Lord willing, tomorrow morning in the normal studio at 6:30 a.m. completely live and with bells on. So we'll see you then. Thanks.
You know what I just saw?
Who is this guy?
I call myself Podcast because of my podcast.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
So it's done. It's done.